there? Who's up who? The guy up first. Who? The guy for first base. Who? The guy up first. Who is on first? What are you asking me for? I'm asking you.
What's up, everybody? I am Tim Ellerbrook. I'm here with my good buddies Brian Caplinger and Michael Ramsey. Welcome to this episode of Who's on First. Boys, you doing all right?
I'm good. Can't say the same for the Cardinals, but
we're not talking about
it.
them today, though, man.
I know. But still, I got to throw them in there a little bit. I mean, getting prepped for big Game 7 tonight in the hockey world, too. So
that is, yeah. That's a big deal around here. Nobody's paying attention to baseball in St. Louis right now.
That's true. That's actually true.
Can confirm.
See all the Blues jerseys, no Cardinals jerseys today.
Shots fired, like low-key. Holy cow. Starting it off well.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, before we get started, we have a fun discussion going today, but I just want to plug our socials. Just a reminder, you can follow us on Twitter, X, YouTube, and all the other places. I actually think that's it, but at WOFBB Podcast, so make sure you do that. Comment and just leave some messages. Tell us how bad we are and how much our takes are terrible, and we'll argue it. That'll be fun. Today, the episode, we're going to talk about some fun stuff. We're going to do our versions of Players of the Month. We're going to break down into some categories, though. We're going to separate... Oh, maybe this is normal, actually, separating batters and pitchers, but we're going to separate pitchers, we're going to do starters and reliever, and we're going to add a rookie in there. So we're going to do each of our version of top three of each category, and then get into some fun discussion and arguments, and we'll see what chaos ensues. So, without further ado, we're going to start off in... You want to do American League or National League?
I think we'll go with the American
League.
I
Okay.
think that one's a little bit simpler. We can come in calm.
Yeah.
And then we can start the debates as we get to the pitching and the NL.
Because we're all National League fans.
True.
All right, let's do we're going to do the American League top three batters of the month. Let's start at number 3. Cap, let's get you first.
All right, so my number 3, this may cause a little bit, but I'm going to go with Jorge Polanco. I got ready to say Crawford, but it's Polanco from Seattle.
I wondered if anybody was pulling him.
Yeah, I decided.
Top 5 for me.
Well, I mean, obviously, as of late, he has been even extra.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to include these first 4 days of May, obviously. But even before that, I mean, the man has just done things that I didn't think it was possible for him. I mean, you look at the fact that he's gotten on a little bit of a tear as far as from the offensive side, big switch hitter on that side. And so for me, it's been fun to watch. I mean, I think, maybe there's a lot of naysayers out there, but Seattle is always that team that kind of seems like they take charge early and fade.
Yep.
In the end, they started a little slower offensively, and offense has been their bugaboo the last few years, right? And so I think it's refreshing to see that now. There's another player that I'll mention later on in the episode today that has also turned the corner for them that I think was warranted of this, their catcher, and we'll talk about his name later. But for me, it's been Polanco. I mean, he's been the spark for that team that's driven them. I believe now they're sitting in first in the West after that. And so that's my number 3.
Mm-hmm. He was in my top 5 and consideration, but I take that.
Yeah, I don't think you'll get an argument. It's also one of those things like I didn't put him on my top 3, but I definitely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. All right, Michael, what you got?
Yeah, I actually had his teammate, the Big Dumper.
All right.
Part of that being he is on my fantasy baseball team and has won me at least 2 matchups. So, he's been unreal. I was looking at the projected starters for next year's World Baseball Classic, and they've now slotted out Adley for the starting catcher and put the Big Dumper in there. And I was like, you know what? I don't think they're wrong.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Adley's just fallen off.
Yeah,
right. And the power profile, like
Correct.
all of a sudden, he made the switch to the torpedo bat, and whatever reason that has unlocked it. And you wouldn't naturally think that coming out of Seattle.
No.
Yeah.
And dude has just been on a tear. But yes, he is the guy that I was going to talk about.
Yeah.
Big Dumper is my number 3, actually. A couple things that jumped out is the Big Dumper has 4 stolen bases. But kidding aside, slugging's at 602, which
Right.
is ridiculous. Not walking a ton, but he's got some walks. But a 2.7 defensive WAR added to it. I know it's a batting player, but I don't think we can take away. I know Polanco's a DH if I remember correctly, right?
I mean, yes and no.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the ones that will DH for them, but he can also play second base.
I don't think it would be fair to take away defensive considerations because it's part of the thing that they add to. But he had a 2.7 defensive WAR added to the value for me, and I don't know, it's 602 slug, 12 home runs in the month of on the first part of the season to April. The big number is dumping on baseballs.
Absolutely.
All right, Cap, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is going to be the third baseman for the Boston Red Sox, and Alex Bregman.
Easy money.
Right. I mean, you look up and down at what he's been able to do for that team. I mean, they've started slow, they're sluggish, but I mean, he's still doing what Bregman's done. In fact, I would say he's on a better pace than what we've seen him do, especially even at Houston. Now, I know that ballpark there plays a role, but it's not like he's coming from a ballpark in Houston that didn't have a short left field porch as well. And so he's been on a tear. I mean, when you look at it, just in the month of April within itself, 7 home runs, 350 average. I mean, you just go up and down, a 600 or 660 slug in that time frame as well. I was like, you just can't go wrong. I thought about Bobby Witt on this list. I thought about putting him in that spot for a minute, and I wrestled. Like I was telling you guys before we came on to record, I was like, there are like 4 players that I could have thrown in either of these spots.
Right.
But when I started to look at what he means and the defensive upgrade he is for Boston, I know we're not trying to focus in on that, but then you match the offense with that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you just can't go wrong with Bregman sitting at 2.
Absolutely.
I actually had Bregman at my 2 as well.
Jeez.
It's just that guy has been better than anticipated. I mean, I feel like he was a guy out there that everybody was like, oh, this is a big-ish free agent out there.
Yeah.
But nobody was like, oh, that's the slam dunk piece that the Red Sox needed. But going and getting him is actually kind of keeping them in that race right now, I think. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, obviously, with the injury to Casas. Seeing Devers step in there too, but Bregman's been very impressive. Like almost 1,000 OPS is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
We're going for a clean sweep of the number 2 spot. Bregman's on my number 3. He's leading, I think, Major League Baseball in doubles, or at least he's leading the American League in doubles. Let me confirm that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. Leading the baseball in doubles at 13. Man, he's just. I mean, I kind of thought about this going into when his signing happened because he said they threw a statistic out there. He's like second best hitter in baseball in the Fenway Park itself, right below Poppy, I think is what it was. And so it's like, oh,
rare company.
he wanted to go there. You could tell because statistically he knew he was going to be a better hitter. And I mean, he showed up, and I think you're right. I think he's one of the big reasons why they are keeping afloat with what's happening there, and how blanking on his name. Who's the DH guy?
Oh, Devers. Devers started so slow.
That's what I'm saying. Like he started 2 weeks not doing anything, and Bregman was keeping them afloat.
And now Abreu, who also started hot, was that like 1B with him, has cooled off tremendously as well.
And he's still
but
going.
he's not. And it's given Devers time to kind of at least balance out. I won't say that he's on a tear yet, but he's starting to find it.
Yeah. Trying to think if there's anything. The first week of the season, I wrote down here that he was hitting 407 with 7 extra base hits over just the first week of the season. I think it's pretty special. Now, I want to comment on what you said with Casas. I was mentioning this to Brian, but that could point out that they'd be looking for, a 10-time Gold Glover that they need since they're losing
he's
a
willing
first.
to play first base.
He said he was.
He's saying he's willing
And Boston
to play
was one of those
first base.
places on his list. So
Exactly.
yeah, that's a good thought.
The Yankees
I really
are
hadn't
also
thought about that.
losing. Who'd they just lose?
Chisholm.
Yeah.
He's hoping it's a 4 to 6 week
Oh, okay.
stint. But those tears, when you talk about an oblique, it's just And again, Chisholm's got 3 tears, not just one.
Mm-hmm.
There are 3 tears, and so I think that's going to end up being a little bit more prolonged than he wants it to be.
Goldie's over there playing undercover agent.
Correct.
Like, hey,
if the Yankees can stay up there too, like without that, there's no reason to rush him back, get him back, you know, in an appropriate time frame rather than rushing it and potentially hurting him again.
I mean, you have him as a DA, him, and if you go out, you know, if the Yankee brass is listening here, you go out and pick up Arenado. You got a DH to fit that spot as well.
What's
so.
also funny about the whole situation is the 2 teams that are competing for the division are after the same player or could benefit from the same player.
Absolutely.
So,
Bidding war.
one gets them. What?
Bidding war.
Yep. I mean, exactly. Now, anyway. Well, speaking of the Yankees, Cap, you want to go with number 1?
Yeah, I think this is going to be
shall we all
unanimous
rise?
here, right? Like there is no doubt. Like I did not anticipate this man to still carry this line coming into this year. I mean, like stud. I thought he would be in the MVP conversation again, but right now, like he's got to be like the absolute front runner with nobody even remotely close, and that is Aaron Judge. I mean, over 400. I mean,
dude, not even over. It's I've got 427 depending on the date,
right.
Which I think he even took it up from my cutoff date.
Well, now he's sitting at 423. If you want to get live, at least per probably as of yesterday. I wouldn't say today's game has been filtered in yet, but I mean, yeah. I mean, what can you say? I mean, on top of that, 30 plus RBIs. I mean, you're doing it without protection from Soto in that regard, which everybody thought for sure he would have a downturn because of that. And now a lot of credit to what the Yankees have been able to do. I didn't want to put him on this list, but you got to give a lot of credit to Goldschmidt and what he's been able to do for that lineup, not just defensively, but offensively. I mean, he doesn't necessarily have these massive power numbers from a home run standpoint, but his doubles are still there. His on base, his average is stupid high.
Yeah.
And he's kind of setting the table. And I think, man, Judge is just going, you know what? I see what you're doing. I can do it better. Let me show you. And he's proven why, in my opinion, right now, and this isn't a hot take or anything, best baseball player in the game, bar none.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I have to apologize to Mr. Judge. I thought you were going to kind of dip this year. The writing was on the wall, but I mean, this guy's been unreal.
Mr. Judge.
There's just something about this guy that I'm wondering, are we talking Barry Bonds type stuff that we're about to see?
You have to, right?
Someone mentioned on Twitter the other day, like eventually he's going to start getting the Bonds walk treatment.
I have to agree. And the problem is, they're without Stanton. Obviously, Soto's gone. But some of these other guys are stepping up. I mean, you're talking Trent Grisham is out here. It seems like this dude's just raking too. Like,
they are striking gold on the offensive side.
It's still losing games though.
I know. we can get into that later too.
Yeah,
but
we wondered if they could do it, and they seemingly are. And Judge's numbers are ridiculous. Obviously, I don't think he's going to bat 427 on the season, but on the pace he's at right now, Triple Crown is definitely within play. And, this guy batting 330, 340, for sure within play.
I wonder do you think Goldie protecting him is what's making it better than, because last year it was mostly Wells, I think, hitting the 4-hole. If that is what brought him more protection, because Soto has talked about how Judge protecting him had made him better last year, which I don't know how much that is on offense. You can probably speak to that more than me.
Well, I mean, for me, I look at it this way: is there protection? Absolutely, because you don't want to put somebody on front or on base in front of a guy that is high contact. And obviously, like I said, what Goldschmidt is doing for them right now on the offensive side, it's very dangerous to put a guy on first, not just simply because he's going to hit the ball out of the ballpark, but gap power. Judge has got enough speed. He's going to score on a lot of those. And then all of a sudden, it just opens yourself up to a tremendous bigger inning. I think the bigger thing that's beneficial for Judge, and I would love to see if it continues to happen, is some of these other, what I would consider role players, continue to keep hitting, like a Grisham, who is inserted into the lineup, not their opening day mostly, starter, right? But he's setting the tone. And so then you already find yourself down, and as a pitcher, you've got to change your game plan to a degree. Not that you're throwing it all out the window, but it's like, I've got to get more aggressive here, and that only bodes to Judge. I mean, if you're going to put anything remotely close to the zone, because that's the other thing with Judge. He's so big. His zone is big, but a lot of times we forget his reach is massive too. So it doesn't have to be right down the middle. And then when you're playing at a park like Yankee Stadium, short left and right, just go down the line. And I mean, you can't fault the man for playing there, but my goodness.
His mechanics are so like refined and perfect almost. I mean, obviously every hitter is going to have some sort of like timing issue throughout the year, but his swing is so repeatable, and he's been doing that same swing. Like, we talk about how we need to change Walker's swing because he's moving, you know, he's a little open this week, is a little closed this week, and it's just like that dude, same swing for however many years. And
I heard it from Little League on up. It's you got to be quiet in the box, quiet in the box, and that dude is just right to the ball. Over the fence.
I mean, I'll just add one more thing since we're crushing on him at the moment.
I mean, it deserves it.
Weighted run created plus. Right?
Stupid.
263. I mean, almost 100 points higher than anybody else in the AL. Like, that is just stupidly insane. And then a 3.5 WAR to bat on that. I mean, if you don't have this guy, if you're the Yankees, you're in the bottom of the AL East right now. Even with the hot starts of other players, you're not where you are. I mean, and the epitome of an MVP, right? I mean, that's what this guy is, and we've only seen a month, really, a month.
And the crazy thing is, he won MVP and hit like 340 or 330 last year, and his April last year was atrocious.
Oh, yeah. He was like bad 220 or something.
Yeah, it was so bad. And ever since, I guess, honestly, ever since that month turned over and it turned May, he's been just
his 162 split is just insane.
That was ridiculous. Couple things that pointed for me is, specifically, I looked at some of batted ball data for him. His hits are going almost completely even from pull to straight to opposite. So his pull rate's 39%, straight 37%, and his opposite field hit is 24%.
And that's how you know you're an elite hitter.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
I mean, you're talking about the power of Bonds, the sight of Bonds with the average of a Gwynn.
Yep.
Like, the baseball has to seem like, you know, the proverbial, like, beach ball to you right now. I mean, that's the only explanation.
The other thing is his slugging is at 762, and we just talked about big dumpers, 602. So it's another 161 points.
Well, and here's the thing. That's only gotten better.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm seeing it's 792 now.
Right.
What, did he hit another homer or something?
Yes. So, I mean...
Actually, just now.
Right. No, I don't know that, but...
on Fangraphs right now, I have their lineup pulled up. His slug at 792 is better than their the bottom 5 hitters' OPS.
Right.
So their fifth best hitter is Volpe, and his OPS is sitting at 768.
Right.
And Judge's slug is 30 points above it.
Right. That's the difference. Slug. We're not talking OPS compared to OPS. It is slug to OPS.
And Anthony Volpe's having a decent year.
Right.
Like 768 OPS is pretty
Not
good.
bad.
I would take that for our shortstop.
For a Gold Glove shortstop?
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's something to be said about Goldie hitting behind him, because if Judge is up at the plate behind him as a hitter that's hitting 350 right now, so you know,
right?
Oh shoot,
I just put him on base, too. Right? Yep. And now I've got to deal with this guy that is going to hit the ball.
Yep. So yeah, I think Judge is the MVP of the entire season.
If you're just looking for one, player of the month from the AL, obviously it's him, not the other two that we. No disrespect to the other two.
And to be honest, of baseball, because no one in the NL
No,
gets
they
those
don't
not
have
stats.
those
close.
numbers either. Yeah. Overall, if I would say if MVP was awarded today, baseball wide,
Yeah.
it's Judge.
Yeah.
So speaking of MVP, okay, so Bonds is the leader of MVP. He's 7, right? If I remember. Total.
I'd have
You
to
got me
look
off
it
top,
up.
yeah.
Right. I'd have to look it
So
up.
I know Otani has 3.
Mm-hmm.
Judge has 2 now. No,
Yeah,
3 now.
3.
He's
Yeah.
tied with. So
Yeah.
if he wins this year, which I don't think there's anybody in the AL that can even compete with those numbers.
I mean,
Not if that he keeps this up.
Right. And I mean, he, again, health, all that stuff. We know he has a tendency to be down,
Yep.
step on the wall the wrong way again.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
all of that fun stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not putting that on him. So I'm knocking
He's
on
the
wood
type of
right
guy that
here
you're like,
for him.
Judge, if the ball's coming to you in right field, just run to get it, but don't
Correct.
get
If
off
there-
your feet.
Right, right.
If there's anything near the wall, don't even worry
just
about
play
it.
it off the wall. We're good.
Yeah.
But
But
the
I-
good thing is he's not in center this
Correct.
year
Yes,
too.
that's
So
true.
that's,
That's a big
saving
change.
him.
They might
Yes,
that might be a difference maker last year too. But I think if I remember correctly, Bonds is the one with a 7.
I believe you're
And
right.
if anybody gets 4, I think there's only, if I remember correctly or something, you guys can look this up or confirm. Nobody's run more than 3, except for Bonds. So then if Judge won MVP, he'd get 4, which would be the only other player more than 3.
That's right. Or if there's anybody listening that wants to be an intern fact checker, just let us know. You can jump in.
Can't
as
pay
well.
you, but we'd love to have
Unpaid
you.
internship.
All right, let's start fangirling or stop fangirling. Let's move on to the starters. So we're gonna do top 3 AL starters. Let's start with number 3. Cap, take us off.
Yeah. So for me, this is where Tarek Skubal
Yeah.
is going to fall in for me. I mean, again, the win-loss is not something that I really pay a whole lot of attention to because that's more team-driven than it is
Yeah.
necessarily the individual starter. I mean, I keep bringing up the Carl. You look today, I mean, now fortunately they got the win and Fetty's still going to qualify for the win, I believe.
Yeah, because he got pulled out
because
of
he
the
had
6th.
the 6 runs on him, and it was a 6-5. But it was like in my head, they were going to lose that game, and they were going to literally give away a quality start from somebody who is struggling to this point. And that was infuriating. And so you see some of that happen from time to time. And so for me, it's like you look at the K per 9, you look at, walks per 9. Obviously, ERA speaks to something. And so that's why, he just landed there. I mean, he's been dominant. You look at it, over 10 K per 9, just over 1 walk per 9. Like, that's what you want from your starter. I mean, he's in the Cy Young consideration. He's been there.
Yeah.
And I think he's just off to a great start again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the same guy in place. He's anchoring that apparently really impressive Tigers pitching staff. We all knew this guy was going to be
Impressive
here.
team.
I'm pretty sure we all picked him as our Cy Young pick earlier in the year. But this guy, a 2.2 ERA again,
Right.
he's ridiculous. He's gonna be there all year.
Yeah. And he's lefty. I think I think that says something about.
I agree.
So I'm gonna throw some honorable mentions. Is Tariq Skubal was number 4 in my number 3 is actually Big Dog Nate Eovaldi, our big game
okay.
Nate Eovaldi.
He fell out of mine, but
Yeah.
I recognize that. Dude has been a stud. He's doing his thing for Texas.
2.1 ERA compared to Tariq's 2.2, which I know that's not everything.
Right.
Big thing that stood out to me is he still has a higher 9 K per 9 rate than 9. He's thrown 46 strikeouts and has 37 innings. 1.175 batting average against, 0.7 whip, and the only pitcher in the AL throw a complete game. I think that speaks to something big. Just a dog, you know. And for an old man, which I know I think he's my age, so,
So you're
old
saying
man,
you're old?
old man a bit. Yeah, I do feel like it. But his fastball still almost is sitting 97 to 98 for and I don't know. For second game of the year was a complete game when pitchers are getting pulled at like 85 pitches an outing, and he's out there throwing 100 and going 9 innings. I think that that speaks to something for me. But I am a fanboy of Nate Eovaldi.
You
So,
are, and that's okay. You're
That's
allowed to
fair.
be.
Yeah, that's
you know.
fair.
My list here is a little bit fanboyish, but I think it's deserved. So,
We'll see.
so.
So
Number 2.
number
What do
2
you got,
for
Cap?
me, I'm gonna go with Max Fried here. And I know my number one's gonna spark some debate, but here, like, I mean, there's not a lot you can argue. I think the biggest thing for me here is, and I know it's not his game, but he's not getting a lot of swing and miss.
Yeah.
It's more contact and it's working. Like, I don't want to negate that. He has been everything, if not more.
He is
than
going
what
to first, though.
What do you mean?
Like when he's running to first to do some PFP.
Well, yeah.
So I just want to point that out. That's a big deal.
Hey, it works. Maybe that moves him up on your list. It didn't for me, but yeah. I mean, again, I mean, there's not a whole lot. I mean, just over a 1 ERA. I think even through April, it was under 1, sub 1 in that regard from my notes, and it's just like, you know, it's amazing what he's doing, especially being a member of the Yankees as far as that park and things like that. But I didn't want to just necessarily let that be the deciding factor. I think there's another player that's more deserving, in my opinion, because of a number of other categories in that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't want to take away from him. I almost, if I'm being completely transparent with you, I almost left him off the list entirely. But then I was like, you can't do that. I mean, I know I just said win-loss doesn't mean anything.
Yep.
But I mean, you're 6-0 on the season. I like, obviously you're doing some quality things.
Correct.
If your team's winning the games that you're pitching and your ERA is hovering around 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, solid pick.
I actually I did the unthinkable. I did go off the wins-loss. It's not that important, and he's not in my top 3.
Oh, all right.
But I will say he's been a dog so far.
Yeah.
Which, if he can stay healthy, what he was in Atlanta prior to getting hurt a couple times, that guy was a great pitcher. So, you know, if he can be that guy again for the Yankees, he's for sure the ace on that staff.
And they need him.
They need him big
absolutely need him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so my number 2 actually is I had Garrett Crochet. Guy's off to a good start. I think we all kind of had that guy in the running for Cy Young. Pretty solid player. I think, just looking where he's at, I had to slot him in at 2, but it was hard to lead Fried off that list just because he's been a dog.
Right. Like, there's a number of them. Looking up and down this list, I mean, another boy in Texas that didn't make my list was Tyler Malley.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's been
right.
He's
like,
doing more than you'd think he should.
right. And so, like, this was hard fault for me. And I mean, Fried is down the list for some and higher for others.
Yeah.
And I was just like, again, I mean, to me, I think the deciding factor came down to the simple fact that you're hovering around 1 as an ERA.
Yeah.
Like,
I will say that was what was about to propel him into my top
Right.
3.
The ERA being
Yes, it's unreal.
Yeah. To be honest, he didn't pop up on my top 5, and now I'm like super regretting it, but because he has been. The only thing for me, and I mean, this is just a single month, so we're evaluating a month of play. He's an insanely good. He's always been an insanely good regular season pitcher. So I'm curious what he's going to look like as a starter for the Yankees in the playoffs in the AL, because obviously the NL has seen him tons, but the AL hasn't seen him very much. So I'd be interested. My number 2 is Garrett Crochet as well. Homer take as well. The whip stuck out to me. A couple things for me is his sweeper's got a batting average of .059 against. And his changeup has not been hit yet. Nobody's been able to hit. Yeah, which is crazy. He's thrown 40 of them, I think is what it was. So it's not a ton. It's an out pitch, for sure. But still, no one's been able to touch
Having
it.
that thing in your back pocket, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, he's got a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's getting a lot. And it's just his windup, dude. His windup and delivery is just kind of wild.
Yeah.
But got a high 10 K per 9 rate. Win-loss is fine, but a 2 ERA. 44 innings pitched, 50 strikeouts. I'd be interested, and I think that strikeout, honestly, rate's kind of low because he led baseball in K-9 last year. So I imagine, as it's settling in with a new team, getting used to a new catcher, I don't know, many things. But yeah, he's my number 2. But I enjoy him as well, watching him pitch. So Cap, take us to number 1. And I know, before you go, you and I have the same one.
Okay, I thought it'd be different. I thought we would be going back and forth here. My number 1, this is where a little bit of a homerish pick for me, if you will, on that side. But I'm going to go with Hunter Brown from Houston.
Disgusting.
Absolutely. And here's the reason. I mean, his K per nine's up. His walks per nine are low. His ERA is, right now, it's sitting at 1.6, but it was stupid in the month of April. Mm-hmm. I mean, so for me, when I look at overall as a pitcher, this is a guy that doesn't let people on base. And when they do, he's got almost an 80% left on base rate. So he leaves people sitting there.
I didn't even think about that.
And that's what you want from your starting pitcher. I mean, you look at even his home runs that he's given up, I think live up to date is 0.2, but in April it was ridiculously low in that. And so it's, again, you talk about a guy who plays in a hitter-friendly ballpark. Sure. He's keeping the ball in the yard. Now, I didn't go back and look at all of his starts to see where they were. But, I mean, again, I picked Houston to kind of thrive this year, and they've let me down at the beginning. They're slow starters.
Yeah.
But he has not been the problem for them. And so that's why I went with him, even over Fried. I mean, again, Fried has the better ERA, but I think
not by much, though.
Is more dominant, more complete of a pitcher, because not only is he going to just blow a ball right by you, strike you out, but if somehow you find a way on base, you're not really making it around the bases.
No.
Yeah.
No, I also had Hunter Brown. He's a guy I did not have anywhere near my top 5 starting this year. I actually watched him in St. Louis pitch, and guy's been impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, he was dealing that night. He actually did allow a runner on right out to get it, and I'm like, oh no, here we go. Shut him down immediately.
Matter, right?
It's like, I mean, the guy's just that whip. Whew, wow.
And I'm a whip guy too.
Yeah, I know you are, and that's he's.
I was leaving that for you, but
he's been sensational. And I'd say if he can keep this up, I mean, he's probably going to lock down the Cy Young this year if he can keep pitching like that.
Yeah, it's a lot closer overall than I thought.
Yeah.
It really is.
What is the 3 things that aren't there usually 3 certain stats that decide like MVPs and Cy Youngs?
Yeah, I mean,
or is that more of a Triple Crown thing?
I mean, obviously, Triple Crown, absolutely, it is a thing. Yeah. But I think MVP, they still look at, the tradition of wanting to look at average. Now, if you have a high average, obviously, that's only going to benefit you in that regard from the batting side. From the pitching side, again, I think it's ERA. I think they've positioned themselves to look at whip, and that becomes a big statement on that. You can't undersell the fact of WAR being something that they look at on both sides of that. And, for Brown, he's at a 1.8.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as a pitcher, that is pretty insane.
Mm-hmm.
And again, there's a lot of competition here, but, just under 50% ground ball rate. So he's not, for somebody that has high velocity, he's not allowing the ball to get in the air very often.
And he's only given up 1 home run all year.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Which is crazy.
Correct. Yeah, those
and
guys
you're playing, at the new ball. I forget the new name for Houston, but their ballpark, you got the Crawford boxes out there. I mean, again, you would think just a routine fly ball off a 97-mile-an-hour fastball is sometimes going to find the seats.
Yeah. Yep.
And so it just speaks to his location, his accuracy, what he's been able to do. And again, I don't want to keep robbing stats from you, Tim. So you
guys all said him. We got a clean sweep for him too.
I'm surprised.
A .8 whip, really?
Yeah,
Dude, he's so good.
I know, but I
Nasty.
just thought he was going to be overlooked.
Yeah.
Like, and that's my fault. I was ready. I was coming in ready to fight for it. Like I was going to argue.
I took that away from you.
I know. I was going to argue it until we're all red in the face.
The whip's really good, .8. I think the thing for me is he even added. He was solid last year.
Yeah.
He was great last year. But he's turned himself into an ace from from a number 3 to an ace in 1 year. He added velo, so he's sitting 97, 98, and he can get up to 99, which is wild. Just as a starter, like I don't think there's very many starters that can throw 99 in the 6th inning. You know what I mean?
Fair.
To have that in your back pocket, to not be throwing that, all turn. But a 10.2 K per 9 rate, a .8 whip, not letting many, leaving tons on base, like you said, Brian. Solid.
Right.
I think he's the Cy Young of the month of April, and like you said, if he keeps it up,
And I guess maybe I took the national vote and kind of let it rub me the wrong way because they obviously went against him, didn't recognize
pick,
some
Tariq?
of that. No, they picked Freed, as
Freed,
the pitcher of the month, which again, I'm not trying to say he wasn't deserving, but when you look up and down the stat line, I was like, how do you overlook this guy?
I agree.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because if you just look at Fangraphs and look at starters and just do the WAR category, because that's kind of the auto populate, Freed is at number 7.
Yeah.
And just WAR.
Yeah,
Right.
he wasn't. Yeah.
And he's got a 1.1, and Hunter Brown's got a 1.8. And below him is Eovaldi at 1.3. Like,
Right.
that's a big gap in
Right.
6 starts,
Correct.
for the month. So a clean sweep of the number 1 pitcher. I think we're
We're doing good.
pretty close with each
Right.
other. So let's do the reliever of the month for the AL. So, Cap, who do you got?
All right. So for me, I really wanted to pick Jeff Hoffman from Toronto, but I went with Andres Munoz from Seattle. The simple fact that he has got 12 saves and he has not given up an earned run. Has not given that. I mean, you're still talking about someone who's over 11 Ks per 9. I mean, and obviously those are always inflated when it comes to relievers a little bit because they don't have the innings to back it up.
Yeah.
But here's the kicker for me. 73% ground ball rate.
Unreal.
Yeah,
That is insane. And so that's who I went with just for that alone.
He's solid, and I don't even think he's the best reliever on the team.
That's crazy.
Now, I mean,
Like when you're talking looking at
looking at Seattle.
yeah.
Because I'm forgetting who the name is, but the dude that throws like 103, 104, he's not having the greatest start. Who is that? He was.
I'd have to go to their team.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me pull up because not off to a hot start, and it's a reliever, so it's
Right. I'm like, well.
Well, he's typically was their closer, or maybe I am thinking of Andres Munoz.
They transitioned to him as their closer now. So
who was the
that's
closer
why-
last year then? Let's look at this.
He moved on. Who was it
Oh,
that
did
they
he?
traded? I don't know if they traded or he just left.
Or maybe
but-
he's injured, or maybe he's on a different team. So what I said doesn't apply. Michael, go ahead.
no. I had the same guy for a lot of the same reasons. 0 runs.
right.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. And he has I was just look at that just a second ago. Yeah, he had 20 Ks already. 11.3, like you said. That's just ridiculous. 5 hits. Yeah, I think I'll take that guy any day.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah,
right.
you can't go wrong there. Mason Miller, I did have to say he's been, kind of the same he was last year. Very, very solid. For a ace team, we all kind of had some
Until
interesting looks at.
recently.
Yeah.
He had
I was gonna say he was on my list originally. Then when I did more research, it's a really bad stat line after one game. To look at 100% left on base rate is kind of ridiculous. After a month, 30 games in right now or whatever? How many games does he have? He has 16 games where he's played 16 innings. Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. He was my pick, but I had to go with Hoffman, so I'm glad I did because you guys did the same. I mean, just as solid. Just a little bit more WAR, a little bit higher K per 9 rate. The whip for me though.
I knew that's what you were going to go to.
I do too. That's why I didn't say it. I didn't say it at all. But
0.6 whip is just, it's stupid. A really, really low barrel percentage of 2.9, which that's pretty crazy too. But I mean, at the same time, you guys are right. Munoz not having a run at all speaks to whatever. So yeah, I think it's pretty solid. So I feel like both relievers are pretty cut and dry for both leagues. But this was two, but definitely between these two. All right, moving on, doing a rookie of the month for the AL. Cap, take us home.
yeah, so for me, this I'm going to give to Jacob Wilson for the Athletics. I just think what he put together and the fact that he's got such a good batting average. You look at the simple fact, too, that he just doesn't strike out. I mean, his K rate is 4.6. And I think I had listened to somebody talk. I don't know if it has changed since then, which I'm assuming it probably has. But he hadn't even gotten to a full count, like a 3-ball count.
Yep.
Like
Wow.
that to me
right. Yeah.
is absolutely insane. Like his numbers, as far as like his average, yes, he's 328 average wise. I started looking at games played, the plate appearances. I mean, he's up there in RBIs for rookies. Like, I mean, I know there's a kid in Boston that's doing quite well right now. I'm not going to bring his name into the mix. But when I just started breaking down the potential stat line of it, I couldn't go away from it. And to me, I know average isn't everything, but the fact that you're hitting 328 as a rookie, and again, going back to the fact that you just don't strike out, nor do you walk. A 4% strikeout and a 3% walk rate.
I mean, he's played in every game too.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, to me, I'm like, okay, this kid is doing something.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I went with Christian Campbell. He's been pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
You can't 290 average, 394 on base, like pretty solid. Wilson was my number 2 on there. I was watching that race actually pretty closely. I'm gonna go with Campbell.
Yeah. Campbell was the same. The only thing that kept me from picking Wilson, because it was really close, the walk rate is really, really low.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, the strikeout rate's really low. So he's doing is putting the ball in play, which he's getting. He's having good luck. His average and his BABIP are
1 out of 3 times he's on base. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just throwing that out there.
Super,
Like I mean, and
super
again,
good.
don't get me wrong. I don't think Campbell's a bad pick on any level.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now, who's going to win Rookie of the Year between the two? I would probably put more money on Wilson to win Rookie of the Year throughout the whole season, but I think Kent Bell has had a better start, higher WRC plus. WAR is really, really
Just
close.
Yep.
Right.
More slug though.
Yeah.
Now
I guess for me,
he's in a better ballpark.
right.
Well, I don't know. I've not watched the game in
Oh, yeah,
Sacramento,
yeah.
so I don't know what
That's
that
true. That's a
ballpark
pretty
is like.
It's small. I mean, like it's friendly. Let's just be honest in that regard. But I mean, like he's not hitting home runs. But a simple fact,
I mean,
again, he's playing every day. His defense is there, and again, defense isn't necessarily the ultimate marker that I look at, but he's a plus defender, and obviously his bat plays. Now we're gonna see the second month of the season. Adjustments. Like we talk about that all the time, especially for these rookies.
Yeah, totally.
So what are they going to do with the adjustments that come out?
I mean, to your credit, though, so Wilson has 3 more games. So Wilson has 32 games. Campbell has 29. Wilson's got 3 home runs. Campbell's only got 4. So it's not that far.
Yeah.
And
No.
they're matching. Wilson's got more ribbies.
Yeah.
It's 17. Campbell's got 2. So, I mean, dude, it's such a similar thing. I think the WRC Plus is what took me over. He just had a little more.
Right. And honestly, I think from a national perspective, obviously Campbell's going to be the pick just because it's Boston. He's seen more.
Yeah.
Right now, nobody wants to watch a game in Sacramento. I don't even think fans want to watch a game in Sacramento.
Yeah. Same with Tampa.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's always been the case, though.
So that is I think that rounds up our entire American League, right?
It
so
does.
number 1 is Judge, Hunter Brown, and then Jeff Hoffman and Chris. Well,
Hoffman for you, Munoz for us.
yeah,
I'm
Munoz
gonna
for
fight
you.
for him. Okay.
Yeah.
But we did have the same. Well, I mean, obviously Judges a given, but we all
Right.
had Hunter Brown, right?
We
Yep.
did. We did.
Oh, sweep of the AL.
That boy
Almost.
Hunter Brown.
That's
That a
right.
boy. That a boy. Let's move on to the National League. So all of us obviously are local fans in the National League. Let's start with number 3 of what do we got here? The National League Batter of the Month. So Brian, take us away.
Man, this was so tough.
This
Like,
one.
I'm
This
not
one
even-
is. We're gonna get
It's
spicy.
ridiculous.
right. Like I mean, I was just so broken on when you start looking at up and down the list of the National League players.
This
Like,
one was better. This was better. This has much more competition of
Right.
picks, I think.
Right. I started looking at this, and so I settled, and I think I was swayed by the latter half of the month for Teoscar Hernandez of the Dodgers.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Like, and
He is
so
my number 4.
he is 3 for me,
Okay.
just because in a lineup where not that he is a bad player, like he's been solid for them
Yeah.
since last year.
Dude,
but
I mean,
again, when you're talking about 3 perennial Hall of Famers in the lineup,
Yeah.
and I'm not talking about any of those guys. I'm talking about Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have considered putting Tommy Edman up on this list
Fair
had,
enough.
he not gotten hurt here towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
And so, for me, just what he's been able to do as far as the offensive outburst that man had towards the latter half. And like I said, that probably swayed me to put him at number 3.
Teoscar Hernandez is sitting at 1 WAR. Right below him is Victor Scott II.
I know.
On the
I knew
list.
you were going to bring that up. So.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're
what
good.
you got,
You're
Michael?
good.
No, so I actually did a split here on my 3 because, like the old saying, you can't decide between your children. I went with PCA and Tucker both right here. Tucker was unbelievably hot,
Homer.
100% homer, but also they are the best offense in the league right now.
Right.
Yes,
right.
yeah.
And those two I kind of feel like are the main piece of that. So, and PCA over the last 19 games has been sensational.
Yeah.
He's got 9 home runs, I think, over the last 19 games or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, obviously we're going batting here, but his defense is
Yeah, you can't.
Stupid.
Like I said,
Right.
you can't take the defense away. To me.
No, and
That's
like,
why Teoscar didn't go higher for me.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that too. But like you talk about, obviously for me, Tucker is an absolute stud. I could have put
Yep.
him on my list. I didn't put either of those two on my list. And maybe I still can't do it. Like, I don't know. That's just because it's a Cubs thing. But
no. I trust me, I understand.
but
That's why there's no Cardinals on this list. There's no other reason why.
I don't think there can be, to be honest with you.
I was gonna say I could argue.
But going up and down all these different categories throughout Baseball Reference, Tucker and PCA are all over all of them. So
Yeah.
I had to lean into both of them there.
Yeah, I mean, Tucker 30 RBIs. I mean, that's up there with the tops. I mean,
Yeah.
Hernandez has 33 at the lead, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Pete Alonso with 30. So, I
Yeah.
mean, like, again, I'm not going to argue that aspect of it because, yes, Tucker belongs there. PCA, I'll be honest with you, he's a player I want to keep an eye on.
Yep.
Because, like, if these last 2 to 3 weeks is what we see moving forward,
Yeah.
dude made the right call in turning down $75 million.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I don't know that I could do that, just to be clear.
It's correct. It's super interesting from his standpoint. I just caught the last part of a segment the other day about like what has the adjustment been for him at the plate, and they were talking about it's where he stands in the box. He
Yeah.
used to stand up a lot further up in the box, and so he was getting
Does he
just
come back?
beat.
just
Yeah.
beat
Yeah,
on
beat
so
on the
many balls, and so he
fastball,
stepped back, which late in the year last year, he really started to hit, and they said that's when he started to make the adjustment was last year, late in the season.
Yeah.
And
It's true because he did struggle for a long time
he
last
looked
year.
pretty rough.
Yeah.
And it went from this guy's a top future player into all of a sudden it's like maybe
Right.
he's just
Yeah.
a really great defender.
Not even an everyday starter when he was running through that stretch. And now you would look like an absolute fool
Yeah.
not to put him in center
Yeah.
field.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll give him credit too. I think his swing kind of looks like it's not the same swing as Judge, nor going to get the same results, but it seems very repeatable.
I agree.
His stance and his swing and his mechanics.
And I mean, he's got the speed to beat out the little infield grounders and things like that, which are only going to help him long term.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that the power has shown up.
Yep.
You know, we joke in our little text thread, like, where did it come from?
Right.
I'm
Correct.
still curious about
I know
that. But
the gifts, I mean.
But I mean, a lot of credit to him.
Yeah.
A lot of
Totally.
credit to him.
So my number 3 was a toss between PCA and Corbin Carroll.
Okay.
Now everybody knows that I'm a big sucker for speed and especially
I
defense.
wanted Carroll on my list.
I did
I'm
too,
Not gonna
and
lie.
when I looked at it, I was like,
wanted him on my
wow,
list.
I can't believe he's not going to be here.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of both of them. The only thing I think if I were to pick, and this is not like a homer take of being against the Cubs, I think I would pick.
I think it is.
If I would want a player on my fantasy team, I think I would probably pick Carroll over PCA. But dude, let me throw this out to you. So I did from March 27th to exactly April 30th. The stat comparison between them is ridiculous. Carroll has 33 games and PCA has 30. They both had a 279 batting average. Carroll had 9 home runs and PCA had 8, which I think is a big deal. Both had 23 RBIs. Both had an on base of 344. Both had a slugging percentage of 586.
Both have 9 home runs now.
Both have an OPS of 930,
Right.
which I mean it adds.
Yeah.
Both have 10 walks. Both have 41 strikeouts in the same month of time. For me, a little bit of a difference separator is Corbin Carroll has a little bit higher average exit velo. He has a 93.4. I'm sorry. PCA has a 94.1 and Carroll has a 93. But Carroll has a better barrel rate, 17% versus 16%, which is really small.
Right.
But Carroll's done it for 3 years, or 2.5. PCA's doing it, but both of them are elite speed, elite defense.
So what I hear you saying is it's a clone, and PCA is just the weird clone, and Carroll's the regular.
That's
clone.
Carroll's
actually
taller, though,
very
right?
accurate.
But I do think they're really, really similar players.
I agree.
But I believe Carroll has the more triples, or do they each have one triple?
No, you're right. Carroll has more triples. I want to say he may be leading the league.
Some
And
of
I'm a
that I
big fan
think
of
is a
those as well.
ballpark. Like
You think so?
I mean, you talk
I guess
about
that's true.
Arizona.
That's a good
Very
point.
true.
You get it in the gap, and if PCA was playing there, it'd probably be reverse.
Yeah.
Just in my opinion.
I would agree.
Yeah. They both have the same pull rate at 56.7%.
Yeah, and PCA, obviously the comp between the two of them, the speed's unreal.
Mm-hmm.
PCA's been stealing at an elite rate too.
Yeah,
for
Carroll
the
has
Cubs,
not.
and
Yes.
whenever he gets on those bags, they have the guys are delivering on the backside of that lineup right now to drive him into.
Yeah.
It's like you find a gap at all if he's on second base, he's scoring.
Right.
Shoot, there's been a couple that they hit right to the kid, and
And that is not happening in St.
Right
Louis,
now,
and
you're
that makes
not,
me so mad.
Right. You're not changing anything in that lineup because you do not mess with what he's doing. PCA that is right now.
Yep.
But I mean, he's showing he has the ability to be that leadoff guy for them once Hap chooses to need to move down or step away.
Agreed.
However that looks.
Hap's turned into a really good leadoff man, though.
100%. That's why I said it's not yet. You don't change anything.
I think a switch hitter, and you can see this with the Mets. A switch hitter and leadoff is like, as long as they can do the things that you're supposed to do
From both sides,
Yeah, from
right.
both sides. Man, that's a great thing to have in a leadoff position. But yeah, VS2 was on base 3 times today. Never scored. Stupid. Makes me so mad.
The other piece to add on the Cubs, you have to take in consideration the competition they have played this last month.
Yeah, they have the hardest schedule, right?
Yeah,
They've had the hardest schedule.
Yeah,
up
no doubt.
until the Pirates series, they had not played a team under 500.
Yeah.
And so now they've played the Pirates and the Brewers both. Ironically,
So-
NL Central
Of course.
teams.
Let me ask you this. This is totally a Cardinals question, but we seem to play better against good teams and just stupid bad against bad teams. Do you think that will translate the same?
Well, after watching one of the Pirates games, I was kind of worried that was going to be the case. But then we went out there and hit 3 home runs off Paul Skeens. So I was like, well, maybe not the case. But then again, he's elite competition.
I was going to say, right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the battle in Major League, though. You're going to play to the level of
you got to play
competition.
everybody.
You've got to fight
especially
that.
with the way the schedule's now.
You just got to fight it.
Yep.
And so, but there is something to that. Obviously, you step up your game in the biggest moments, at least elite players do.
Yep.
And so,
PCA's had 13 stolen bases. What is it?
Yeah, that 12 or 13 sounds right.
Corbin Carroll's only had 5. So
he's not running as much this year.
He's not running, but
and I wonder if it's an
just
injury
hitting.
scare.
That's what I kind of wonder if that's the game plan they told him.
I don't
not
think
to run
he
as
can
much.
play that way all season, but maybe early on it's been let's just ease yourself back into this a little bit.
Yeah, I think for me it was just Carroll's done it the whole month, whereas PCA had turned it on the last 2 months.
Yeah.
Now the way he turned it on is wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway.
two.
Cap, take us number 2.
All right. And this, I really wanted, again, this is the guy I wanted to be number 1, but when I started looking at different things, I just couldn't put him there. Just for my own, maybe I'll just say my own stupidity didn't allow him to be at number 1, but he should be. And that's Fernando Tatis Jr.
Yeah.
And maybe this is my man crush. I love watching that man play baseball.
I agree.
Like there is just something about the way he plays, the aggressiveness he plays with. It's almost looks like he's wild and feral out there, yet somehow he's still so much under control.
He's got a lot of swagger.
Right.
He
like
does.
and I just love that. I mean, obviously high batting average, the home runs are there, the RBIs aren't quite there, but that's because he's at the top of the lineup. So you look at the run side of things. I mean, 26 runs. I mean, that's just, to me, it's dumb. He's tied for WAR with Pete Alonso at 2-2. And so, those are the reasons why I ended up putting him there. Low strikeout rate. I mean, 15% for someone who's played 31 games. My heart sank for San Diego when they were rumoring that he might have messed up his knee or leg.
Yeah.
On that play.
Yep.
I was glad to see him back out there the next day with doesn't seem to be any worries at all. So that's my number 2 there, and it'll never happen, but I would love to see that man in Cardinal red.
Oh yeah, you're totally right. That's never happened.
Right.
No, my number 2 is actually the polar bear, Alonso. I am holding it against him that they have played very poor competition up to this point. But he's been sensational. Not a guy that I've always been super high on. As a player, obviously, he has power. There was a lot of rumors of Alonso to the Cubs this offseason.
Would you like that?
There was part of it. He hits really well in Wrigley. But at the same time, and I'm just not a big Alonso fan.
Yeah.
He has gotten better as a defender. He was
big,
really
strong
bad
man.
as a defender.
He was
just like, this guy should be a DH.
For sure.
But no, I gave it to Alonso. It was close between him and Tatis for me. But
that is one of the things I wonder how it's going to play out, and I wonder if the Mets don't want to bring him back long term because Soto's got 15 years and he's going to have to go to DH in like 3 or 4.
Yeah. Soto's your DH.
Alonso and Soto taking up 2 DH roster spots.
Yeah,
and
it's just not going to
and a
happen.
whole lot of
80
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Collectively. My number 2 is actually Tatis as well. Dude is just platinum glover.
Right.
The thing that stuck out to me, because you mentioned some pretty standard stuff, he's got an 1100 plus OPS.
Yeah.
19 walks, 18 strikeouts. So is maintaining the lower strikeout rate than walk rate. And his contact rate is 94%, which is just so incredible. Barrel rate of 16.5%, which is great. A 345 average. I'm still an average guy even if the leagues and everybody says don't pay attention to it anymore. I don't know. I think it's a cool, like, oh yeah, you hit the ball. Oh yeah, it got you on base. I think that's cool. I think he's a solid pick. He kept me from number 1 though for reasons I'm sure you're gonna explain now. Go ahead. Number 1 pick.
I wanted to. I'm not even gonna lie. I wanted to say, and I sent you guys the message today in our group. I wanted to say Brendan Donovan here at number 1.
Yeah.
That would have been such a homer pick, and I think it's deserved to at least mention his name in this conversation because of what he's able to do. And you're talking about someone that plays multiple positions. He's not locked into one spot, and he's just an absolute stud. But I couldn't put him at number 1, and ultimately he didn't make the top 3 for me, as disappointing as that was. My number 1 is the polar bear, and here's the reason why. I recognize, like, the competition hasn't quite been there, but I look at it this way, like, you can only play who's on the schedule.
100%.
And what he is doing, I mean, 664 slug. I mean, again, we said it. No one's going to reach what Judge is doing.
Yep.
But that's pretty close.
Correct. You pull Judge out, you look at it, you go, oh, wow.
Right. Like, that is pretty insane. You know, I'm not a big polar bear fan. Like, when he threw Mason Wynn's first ball into the stands, I was ready to go out there and fight him. Like, I mean, honest mistake or not, I was ready to throw down with him. He'd probably take me out. He's much larger than I am.
Very fair.
You just got to give Stubby Clapp a call.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. But, like, so for me, this was hard because, like, I looked at it and my sheer, like, just dislike for the man
Yep.
almost made me just not put him on the list. And then I was like, that wouldn't be fair because the dude is raking. He's doing what you're supposed to do. The home runs are there. The RBIs are there. And he's doing it in a place, and some Mets fans may get mad at, in a place that they didn't even want him.
True.
And he's still showing
You're
up.
not wrong.
Right.
When did he sign? Right before spring?
It was real late.
Yeah, it was super late.
It was after Bregman, I remember.
Right.
Yeah.
The only reason why I think they signed him was the simple fact that Soto wants to play right field, and they didn't have that DH first base locked up. I think if Soto would have said, hey, we're good to I'm good to DH all the time, they would have left Alonso off the list, moved Vientos to first.
Yep.
And I think we might have seen Arenado in New York.
Could have seen
just not with the Yankees on the Mets. And so, but I think, you know, in conversation with all that, it just ended up being, you know, the best fit for them at the end. And obviously he's taking advantage of it because dude's going to get paid. I mean, if he can keep these numbers up, everybody that doubted him, he's going to go somewhere and be a DH, like you said. And again, his defensive metrics are improving, but he's not going to be a Gold Glove first baseman. That's not what you're after him for. You're after the slug, and he is so far through the first month, in my opinion, proving that he can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's obviously the opposite. It's Tatis for me. I've often wondered what he would be right now had he not had a whole season he missed. Like, just think about how great he's been the last 2 years.
Right.
What if he was, you know, didn't miss a year, because he was already way ascending prior to that suspension.
Yep.
Which I don't really think played much part at all into what he was playing.
Like he's proven it now.
I remember the minor league stint that he had right when he come back from this the suspension. It was like 7 home runs in 2 games.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I think it's time.
Yeah.
I was
gonna be
so
okay.
wanting, like, if I would have been a GM of any team at that point when everybody was down on him because of that, I'd have been throwing insanely stupid trade offers to the Padres to try and get him despite the suspension. I'd have been like, I'll take the suspension for the time that he's going to miss because of this exact moment.
Correct.
So, like, that's why, like, I wanted to put him at number 1, but I was like, I felt like that was just more man love than it was actual stats.
Yeah, that's very fair. You know, and to that point, on top of that, the folks were basically, they're like, you know, the Padres basically could void this contract when he wrecked the motorcycle and everything. I'm like, they void this contract. That's going to be the biggest mistake they've ever made, because it's like,
and they wouldn't be anywhere in relevance that they are right now.
Not at all. Well, that's why he's in our top. You know, like we looked at this Padres and we talked about it before the year. There's a chance this team falls off and falls off hard, but they haven't because of this guy.
Right.
You know, through the first 3 weeks, they were the best team in baseball. So, you know, obviously they've had a couple of losses here,
which is
more recently, correct. But you know, that's Tatis has been phenomenal.
So I went with the polar bear as well. I did not want to, because honestly, I think it was blindness. I didn't know he was playing that well at first when we started talking about this. but it's kind of funny. Their OPS is identical.
Yeah.
1136 OPS on both of them. For me, though, I think comparing 25 and 24, so you think about expectation. Obviously, he's a home run hitter, but he has the reputation of the three outcome hitter, low average, low contact, swing and miss, or home run. But the dude is making lots of contact.
Yep.
And his average right now is 345, and his average last year, with the same amount of sample size and the same calendar date, was only 220, which is, if that's 100, I have a 125 point difference. Same amount of home runs, which is crazy to think about. So he slugged the same, but he's just making way more contact. This year, 30 ribbies. Last year, only 14. Had a 773 OPS at this time last year. Now is 1136. So I mean, he's just kind of carrying, and we've seen him this year. The Cardinals have finally won one game against the Mets this year, and they're terrified to pitch to him.
Yeah,
they're in the game today. We're recording on Sunday night. The game today, JoJo, and our main lefty reliever walked Soto. Or I'm sorry. If he was at bat against Soto, had only one out, so he was going to have to face Alonso no matter what. And we're like, he's up 3 balls, 1 strike. I'm like, you're going to walk Soto, the lefty, just to throw to, and so they're terrified of him. I mean, proof's in the pudding, man. He's doing phenomenal work. And I was blind to it.
That's right. So speaking of the Cardinals, they just started. They're in the bottom of the second, 2-0.
2-0 who?
Cardinals over the Mets. I will tell you, it was a 2-run home run.
By?
Whose bat do you think it came off of?
What inning did it happen?
Second inning.
Victor?
No. Dang it. Good try. Any guesses, Michael?
Jordan Walker.
No, I wish, but that is not the case.
That ain't happening,
The
man.
guy that I probably will regret saying his name.
Oh, no, that'd be the first inning.
No, it is Alec Burleson with
Oh
the
my
2-run
God.
home run.
Gross.
Yep. So there you go.
And last thing about Polar Bear, he's doing the same thing that Tatis is doing. Lower strikeout rate than walk rate.
Yeah.
19 walks, 18 strikeouts for a 3-out, 3-outcome hitter. So what is the difference? Begs the question, what's happening this year? But yeah, solid. I mean, Brendan Donovan was going to be my number 3, and Tatis is going to be my number 1.
Right.
But Alonso wasn't even making my top 5.
Again, I
like,
wanted to leave him off the list as well, and I would have put Donovan in 3 if I'd had pulled that out.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, fair. It's not a clean sweep at all, but still good picks. But we're kind of all really close to the same. Moving on, let's do the starters, the top 3 starters for the National League. Cap, take us on to number 3.
All right. So for me, number 3 is hailing from the Queen City in Cincinnati, and it is Hunter Green.
Mm-hmm.
He is going to be 3 for me.
Interesting.
When you just outright look at the numbers, they're not necessarily the greatest numbers overall. Some of the big ones is the strikeout K per 9, 11.6. And again, 1.69 in walks. I think this kid has figured it out, and that scares me because he's in the division against us. And I think
we can't hit him either, so it doesn't matter.
Right. And I think Francona has figured out whatever it is to unlock these young starters in Cincinnati. And again, I will say this all season long. They're going to be up and down as a team.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if I was anybody in the Central, Cubs, whomever, this is the team I'm most fearful of getting hot and like putting together like a 15-5 20-game run is Cincinnati.
Yep. No, I actually had Hunter Green as well. He has looked like he's shown some signs over the last couple of years that he was kind of moving in the direction of a Cy Young type pitcher. Mm-hmm. And I think if he can keep this type of stuff up, he's definitely going to be in that conversation. To take your whip at 0.82 right now is pretty ridiculous. He's I said before the year, I thought Cincinnati was the team that would fall into second place in the division. And And then I kind of looked silly early on because, and they've still done it a couple other times where it's like they go out there and they just can't hit.
Right.
And it's like, all right. But then the game's 2-0. And it's like, all right, guys, come on. But it's because guys like this.
Yeah.
Hunter Green's been sensational.
Right. Give Hunter Green, give Nick Lodolo their credit. I mean, both of those guys, young guys that are unlocking
Lodolo.
something this year for them. And I mean, their biggest problem right now is the bullpen. Yeah. I think if they can figure out how to solidify that a little bit better, they're going to be a scary team that can run down a lot of teams. Yep. And if they somehow squeak into like the wild card, they could be like what Arizona did in previous year.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, that's really scary, terrifying, and upsetting. So my number 3 is a little abnormal, and I think two of my starter picks are a little abnormal. But my original number 3 was Michael King. But I'm going to move him to 4. It's just an honorary mention. He had a 2 ERA.
Yeah, he's been good.
46 strikeouts. He's doing really well. But I wanted to give some cred to Mackenzie Gore. He is my number 3.
I was just looking at him, and I was like, man, if he only did not play for the Nationals.
Yeah.
I
mean, he doesn't have the greatest ERA. He doesn't have an ERA that puts him in an elite category. It's a 3.5.
Right.
But
his
he's
9 is ridiculous.
Yeah, he's leading all of baseball in strikeouts, which I just think deserves some
by
spotlight.
a large
and
number.
He's a lefty.
Right.
So anytime you face righty hitters, you're like, ooh.
And this is the guy they got in the Soto deal from San Diego. So San Diego's kicking themselves watching this, because if they had that young man, I mean, especially now that Soto has moved on.
Soto's ruined every team that he's been traded to, because the Yankees are like, Michael King's right there.
Right.
And he was in their bullpen.
That might be saving face for San Diego right now, is the fact that King is there.
But he's about to not get extended and just go somewhere else too, because they're out of money. His none of the stats are like incredible. His WHIP is it's a 1.1. It's not super great. It's not bad, but not great. Man, his opening day start through 6 innings, only 1 hit, 13 strikeouts opening day. That's just Mackenzie. I don't know. At the end, he's probably going to have a 4-something ERA and not going to be on a radar for anyone. But I feel like he deserves some highlight for being the strikeout leader in baseball in 1 month.
I'm not going to argue that at all.
But I think Michael King probably deserves the actual number 3 spot, but 59 strikeouts is ridiculous. Number 2.
All right, number 2 for me is Jesus Luzardo from Philly.
Yeah,
great pick.
I mean,
great one.
I don't know how they keep doing it. I mean, I know he came from Miami, obviously.
He wasn't even this good in Miami.
Right. And he is with arguably probably one of the greatest starting pitchers setups that Philly has, when you start talking about their lineup with Nola and Wheeler.
Yeah.
And now this guy, and Suarez is coming back. I mean,
I feel like they're the team that all 5 are like 1s and 2s.
Yeah. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And again, an over 10K per 9, low walk rate, again, left on base, 77% left on base rate. Like, as a starting pitcher, like, I think that stat alone, a lot of people overlook, because people are going to get on base. It happens. You're not going to be precise every game. And the fact that when somebody gets on base, 3/4 of the time, you're basically just leaving them there.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, that's really, really good. And I mean, obviously, the best WAR among NL pitchers right now.
Is he really leading WAR?
Yeah, 1.7.
Wow.
So
did not see that. That's awesome.
So yeah, I mean, what can you say? I mean, I feel bad, like, because I wanted, again, this is another guy like Logan Webb I wanted to put on this list.
Yep.
And when I started looking at other things, it just was like he fell down to that like 4 spot, 5 spot for me. This is where I was like, when we talk about the NL, I was like, do we really only have to list 3? Like, can't I put like 15 in each category? Because there are people that are deserving to be in consideration, but he's my number 2.
Yeah, the AL, I feel like a lot of the stuff, there's a reason why we hit on the same types of guys. Like, it was very consistent. The NL, it's a lot more all over the place. Like, there's a lot of really solid players hitting and pitching both. And I actually went with Luzardo here as well
Okay.
because
Wow.
of that WAR. Actually, his WAR has gone up again because he now has a 2
Okay.
WAR.
Yeah.
So he's just been. I kept seeing his name floated around the last couple of years in trade,
Right.
scenarios. And
He's been everywhere. He was on our radar for a while. I know he was on the Cubs radar.
He was, but this guy as like potentially your 3 in the playoffs. Ridiculous,
Right,
man. Come
right.
on.
And yet they're still not going to win.
That's what
That's
kills
so
me. I
sad.
feel for him, but
So Luzardo was my original 3. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good, brother.
He was my original 3, number 3 until I looked at King and then Gore. My number 2 is Tyler McGill from the
Okay.
Mets.
Okay.
Just not crazy, and I think my 2 and 3 are just not standouts, and they're not an elite category. But dude, they're just getting the job done, and we just hit a homer off of Tyler McGill. So this is pre-May.
are you sure you don't want to shift it up real quick?
Pre-May. Dude had a 1.7 ERA.
Yeah.
The whips, it's fine, 1.1. It's not crazy. Started 6 games, only 39 strikeouts, 31 innings pitched though, so like still better than 9, flat 9. Not solid, but man, I guess for me when I look at it, what put him there is the Mets went in with a certain rotation they had in mind, and they all got hurt and it blown up, and yet somehow they still have the best pitching staff in baseball right now, relievers and starters, and McGill is their best starter right now. Well, no, I take that back. Clay Holmes is better, I think. Has better stats, just didn't belong, and he was a reliever.
Yeah. I mean, you could argue back and forth. I could see that.
I
mean,
think you guys have a better pick because what's funny is Skeens is not even on our list,
That's crazy.
and I mean, the reality,
and
like,
he's still really good.
right. Like, don't get me wrong. Under 3 ERA, I think for me, I think the biggest thing with Skeens is his K per 9 has gone way down.
Yeah.
Like, he is under 9 right now. I'm not saying that won't change.
Yeah.
But to me, that, like, I don't know what that is, because a guy that has that type of velocity, that movement, and the same arm angle and release point should not.
His velo is still super high.
It should not be under a 9 as K per 9.
Speaking of, what's crazy is Paul Skeens has a ground ball rate of 52%. Matthew Liberatore has a ground ball rate of 44. Better.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right. And that's
Anyway.
what, like, okay. So
No. You finish what you were saying.
No, I mean, and that, to me, like, I didn't have, your initial pick there.
McGill?
Yeah. On the list, just because, I mean,
He's
yeah.
11.3 K per 9 though.
Right. Like, I agree. Like, that
1.7 ERA.
that to me, I mean, it's cool. But but compared to what the other guys are doing. That's awesome. So
That's amazing. Hit me with the number 1. I think this is going to be a clean sweep.
yeah, so my number 1 is Yamamoto from the Dodgers. I mean, what can you say? I mean,
Tell us.
gosh, man, I wanted him to fail so bad.
I hear you.
I wanted him not to work out.
Just because of the contract?
Yeah, well, not even the contract, but just like there was so much talk around, like, I don't want to go to like this big team. I like the idea of a small town-esque feel, or, a middling, if you will, market. And not that I thought that St. Louis was going to get him or anything like that. But maybe it's just the pairing with everything else that the Dodgers already have in starting pitching. I just wanted to kind of see them guess wrong on somebody.
Right.
And he is not the case.
No.
And I mean, again, everything we've talked about, over 11 K per 9, ERA under 1. I mean,
That's ridiculous.
87% left on base. That's been my number of the episode right there, or my stat of the
left on
episode.
base.
But like, and it's nearing 88. Like, that is just stupid in my opinion. And I just keep waiting for the wheels to come off for him.
Right.
And he only gets better.
Just
Every start he's out there and something new is arising. out of him, and it scares the life out of me as far as from a National League perspective.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have
Because
to
he's
face
locked
it.
up, right?
all
I
the
mean, you're
time.
gonna have to go through him for years to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to be the clean sweep here. But just to also point out, a guy that I forgot to even mention as he was in consideration for me was Nick Pivetta.
Yeah,
Has had a very hot start as well.
absolutely.
I think he
Was
does
he in
have
the Padres?
Yep.
He's got a few less starts than everyone else, so that kind of I held that against him. But Yamamoto, everything about him is ridiculous. It's his whip is what 0.93.
Mm-hmm.
His ERA 0.9.
Right.
Like
right.
he's only given up 2 home runs, only 13 walks, got 49 Ks. Like just his average, batting average against him is 171. Like nobody's
even lower
doing
than what I've
literally
got.
anything about this guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. Like you talk about Pivetta, I had him written down kind of like as a side note. I even wrote down Libertor as a side note
Sure.
from
I
our
had
side
an
of
honorable
it.
mention of Libertor too.
Just and the thing that left them off my list was the innings pitched to this point. You know, and hopefully as we go further in the season, those two guys can continue to perform and maybe they'll crack the list as somebody else falls off. But when you look at these three guys, I'm a little nervous that nobody's going to fall off that list.
Right. So Yamamoto for me, we have a clean sweep. So thing that stuck out to me is his splitter, man. It's disgusting. He's thrown 192 of them too.
Yeah.
And it's got a .098 batting average against, and it's gotten 25 strikeouts. So that's telling me that pitch looks like a really looks like a fastball, kind of like Senga's forkball. And how he's using it like, oh, yeah, I'm going to throw the forkball. Well, I'll just throw the fastball. And they look identical and get whiffs on it. 0.9 ERA, it's stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the ERA in and of itself deserves the number one spot. Below 1 ERA in 1 month is ridiculous.
What would we consider as the pitching triple crown?
ERA, strikeouts, wins, I think. Isn't it wins? Or is it innings pitched?
I don't know. That's the third one is the one that I was trying to figure out because I knew it was strikeouts and ERA. I just couldn't remember if it is considered still wins would be the consideration. Because I'm like, we very well this
wins,
might
strikeouts, and ERA.
This might be the guy that we actually see do that.
Yep.
Like, and that is stupid when you really start thinking about it.
And where everything else is going wrong for that Dodgers pitching staff right now, like everybody else is getting hurt. Other guys aren't performing where you thought they would be.
And he was hurt last year.
This guy has just been everything and more.
Yeah.
Now, ironically, he's got 2 losses on the season, and one of them is to the Pirates.
Right. And so, but again, talking about his stuff and how it's just progressively getting better. That's why I say we could legitimately see him sweep all 3 of those categories easy.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there would be another pitcher in this category that would because who realistically has a low ERA and a high strikeout rate like that? Mackenzie Gore's got the highest K per 9 rate, but
his ERA is not there, right? And he's not going to get the wins, unfortunately.
Logan Webb has a really good one, but I don't see him leading in strikeouts.
No, I don't either.
Right.
Because he's a sinker baller. The only one I picked Skeens to win the Cy Young.
Right. He would have to right the ship, which is very well within his reasoning.
Yeah. I think it's, we kind of talked about this in our group, but the league's adjusting after 1 year. The Cardinals have always had his number for some reason, but last year the number that we had on him was like our pitching was great and we only scratched 2 runs off and we won the game. But this year he's getting blown up.
Right.
Yeah.
5, 3.
Yeah, he gave up 5 runs, I think it was. No, he gave up 3 runs to the Cubs, but it was only on 5 hits. To be honest with you. But 3 of them were home runs.
Right.
So we hit
in
him
the
for
same
5
inning.
runs in that one start.
And
And that's when the weather
he'd
was
given
like
up.
30 degrees outside.
Right. And
Crazy.
so that, and again, I don't want to take anything away. Dude's still a dog.
Correct.
By every means. It just,
I'm picking him
when you look
if I'm putting a team together.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. You look at the analytics, you look at the numbers, and something says there has been an adjustment to him across the board.
I want to say I saw something that he slightly has dropped his arm angle just slightly.
Really?
And
I wonder if that
wanna
tunnel,
say like that.
it's allowing hitters to see the ball
minute,
better.
but that's what I'm
Right.
kind of wondering as well. Because last year, nobody was hitting anything on that guy.
Right. And they said the reason why he adjusted his arm angle was they showed the torque on his shoulder was significantly different at the new arm angle, which would give him obviously less likelihood of damaging his shoulder, all of that stuff. So it's longevity for him, which I commend him. But I agree. Like, does it give
He's gonna have
hitters,
to change his that just means he's gonna have to change his counts, like what he pitches and what counts.
right? Because it's like, do the hitters get a better sight of the ball, and that's changing it? Because again, you talk about a guy who had above 10 K per nine last year, now under 9.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
it's 1 month.
he got Cy Young votes, and he played only 2/3 of the season. That's
Right.
how disgusting he was.
Right. And I mean, he's going to get back there.
Yeah.
I'm with you. If there's
for
anybody
sure.
I want starting a game, it's that guy.
Yeah.
But
One honorable mention I want to throw out there. I know this is a little bit of a homer take, but Matthew Liberatore is in the top 10 pitchers in the WAR category.
right.
And I think looking at it, his ERA is 3.19, but his FIP is 1.8.
Yeah.
Which, for those who don't know, FIP is just what an ERA would be if fielding wasn't taken into play.
Right.
So he would have a stellar season if
If we didn't have errors.
Yeah, if we didn't have errors, which is funny because the Cardinals
Right.
have one of the best defenses this
Right.
year right now. All right, so what do we have left? Reliever of the month for the National League.
Yeah, so for me, it was a simple one. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are deserving. A couple quick shout outs. I think Shelby Miller for Arizona, is worth mentioning. Graham Ashcraft, who we just got annihilated by as the Cardinals, I think is having a stellar year. This is a guy who was projected to be a starter. They've moved into the bullpen, and he's kind of found some life there. Eventually, will he come back to being a starter? I think so, but he's found a little bit there. But my pick is going to be the Padres, Robert Suarez. I mean, just the saves. Again, the ERA is not quite what you want it to be, but when you're talking about a closer, one bad game really inflates the ERA like crazy. This is where it's a little bit different for me. His K per nine's not high, but he's still getting the saves. And so that's a big deal when it comes to relief pitching for me. And the save aspect just basically put him over the top for me. I mean, because when you look at, I believe, the National League, he's got a pretty good margin.
Wait a second, what's his ERA for you?
That's what I was.
Oh, 0.6, sorry.
Okay, I was going to say, whoa.
I was like, did I miss something?
Did he just get
No,
blown up like
no.
yesterday?
Sorry, I must have looked at somebody else's.
Oh, okay.
I know what I did. I looked at his expected ERA.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And
okay,
that was the case there. So, because his expected is a 303.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which is not bad
No.
for a closer by any. I mean, it's not bad for any pitcher.
Correct.
I would take that ERA. But yeah, again, 13 saves. Finnegan for Washington has got 10, which shout out to him for that, especially on the Nationals team.
Washington. Yeah.
But outside of that, there really hasn't been anybody that's kind of close
Anywhere
to
close.
him.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to go back to my fun stat of left on base, 89%. So, like, as a closer, that's money.
Yep.
That's the stat line.
Especially
that I'm
with a
looking at.
pitcher with not a high strikeout rate, and
Right.
more of a ground ball guy.
Right.
Yeah, he's the obvious choice here. His numbers are so close to Munoz. The only real split difference is that ERA. He has given up a run. But you're talking 15 games pitched versus 16, ERA of 0.6 versus 0. Saves, actually, Suarez has 13, Munoz has 12. Innings pitched 15 and 16. Hits, they've both given up 5.
Right.
But Suarez has only walked 4 guys. He's only got 16 Ks, but a whip 0.6. Like,
right.
the guy has been phenomenal.
Right.
Exactly what you need as a closer. That's definitely him.
Yeah, so the same for me. We got a clean sweep with that one. So I had, when you put the date range in for ending in April, so I'm guessing he's gotten hit a little bit in May somewhere. His K per 9 is 10.2. which is really high.
Yeah, mine's 9.6
Yeah,
is what I had
9.6.
marked
So
it
there's a little
down.
bit of a
So
change.
maybe a little bit of a change.
0.6 WAR, ground ball only for me. A ground ball percentage of 26.7, and I think we're just looking at different date ranges.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's still the best in the category. A whip of 0.6. That's just fantastic.
Right.
And the reason I like whip is more so when you look at relievers. ERA is just such a weird number because,
Right.
like you said, you
One
have one
bad
bad
game.
game.
Right.
ERA is crazy, and everybody thinks,
Give
"Oh,
up
this is
a
a terrible
walk-off grand
pitcher."
slam, and
Yeah.
that's 4 runs counted against you right there.
Yep. But then the next day you could be lights out. Your ERA is not changing
Right.
very much. Yeah, I think he's been pretty solid. And in my opinion, there's not been that many relievers that have met up to that. Honorable mentions for me would be Jose Alvarado, super solid, and then the same guy that you mentioned,
Finnegan?
Finnegan. No, not Finnegan. The Cincinnati.
Oh,
He's not a closer. Ashcraft. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude is
I wanted to say
crazy.
Gramcraft, but I knew that wasn't right.
Throwing 99, 100,
Yeah.
multiple innings.
Right.
Which I know he used to be a starter, so
Right,
he's
right.
converted. But yeah, honorable mention for me. Phil Maton, a little bit of an honorable mention. He got blown up today, but this was April, and he was incredibly solid in April.
Absolutely.
So we had a clean sweep of our relievers. The last category, we're closing it out.
All right.
And this is going to be fun because I think we all have somebody different. Let's do the NL Rookie of the Month. Cap, take us home.
All right. I wanted to put Thomas Saggese right here as Rookie of the Month. I wanted to, but he only had 14 games played.
Yeah.
And so that just took him off. But I mean, when you look at the numbers in that small sample size, the best rookie in the NL, bar none.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I'm just going to leave that there for people to chew on. Ultimately, I went with Luis Angel Acuna from the Mets. I mean,
super solid.
right. Like, I mean, there's not much you can say on that side. I mean, he's been what you needed him to be. As a rookie, I mean, he's got a pretty decent average. He's
Hitting above 300.
Right. Playing solid defense on that side of the ball. I'll leave some of the numbers out just on that side. But, like, again, up and down. I mean, just a solid guy. I mean, getting on base, stealing bags. To me, you can't ask for much more than that. But, again, throw this out there. If you're looking at just the numbers, 341 average for Thomas Saggese. Like, and I can't stress that enough, and yet he got sent down to AAA. And so maybe I'm a little bitter
It's the state
because
of
of
the state
that.
of the Cardinals, my friend.
But, like, I mean,
Michael's shaking his head over here.
right.
We'll take him. Send him up.
Right.
We'll find a spot. We got a third base wide open right now.
Jeez. Please don't do that to me. I might have to really go on a rant. But yeah, so at the end, slight edge out to Acuna just because of what he's played pretty much the whole season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, those were the two guys I landed on, actually on this as well. And I did go with Acuna just 4 games played. But what the Cardinals are doing with him is unreal. Yeah, it's crazy to me. So I was curious to see what Acuna was going to look like. Obviously, he's got a little bit of pressure from the brother's standpoint, but he has been rock solid. And I think that most of his numbers are pretty sustainable. Obviously, the 300 average we'll see. Obviously, some people don't care about that, but like you said, Tim, I do still care about that.
It's funny that we all say that because that makes me think that a lot of people care about it.
I think that the people that really watch baseball all the time do still care about average because
it's been the mainstay number,
outside
right?
of a guy like Kyle Schwarber who's able to put up 50 home runs. Like you
Right.
tell me that you're going to get a guy like that. Okay, versus like Luis Ariz, like a couple years ago, Luis Ariz led the league in batting average, and Schwarber led the league in home runs or something. And so, like, they're
Which one are you going to pay more?
correct. Like, I want to say their on base percentage and everything was like identical or something, but
Right.
Ariz has no power at all.
Right.
So it's
And no defensive
It's like
value.
okay, yeah, he batted 350, but he didn't do anything else. So
But then we look at Judge on the other end, who batted like 336, and we're like, whoa, And
Well, he
Ohtani
also has
last
the
year.
power, right?
Yeah, he had all of it. Yeah.
When you have all of it, obviously it puts you in elite company. But if you're not going to have all of it, obviously changing the game with one swing is going to always be valued more than just the guy that gets on base or gets a hit, just because it takes 4 of those guys to do what one guy can do. And that's why, again, Schwarber is who he is.
Yep.
You know what you're getting. Now I think baseball is starting to shift a little bit in the sense of, if you're going to have that guy, you need some of the other guys centered around them. And I think Philly's trying to do that to some degree. And you're seeing other teams do the same thing, but just this all or nothing power with a low average, that's what gets you in these really...
Joey Gallo's trying to become a pitcher.
Right.
Now.
Yeah, right.
And that's what gets you into these
kind of
slumps.
looks good. I'm not gonna lie.
So that's
It'll be interesting. I
Yeah.
mean, a mid-90s guy,
Right.
so...
He's
Yeah.
big dude.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, he had an arm too. I mean, that's why
Right.
I made him good at that.
True.
So Thomas Sagasi is actually my pick, and I feel better now knowing that it's not like a complete homer take.
No.
I'm just not using the games played against him because he didn't have a choice.
Correct.
The standout for me, 876 OPS, 512 slug, which is really good. But dude had a 429 batting average against sliders.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people don't hit sliders really
Correct.
well
Right.
because they're haunting fastballs. So he maintained a 429 against sliders and still had a 357 against four seams. So that tells me his swing, change is just pretty solid.
Yeah.
To
Me,
go
it's
against
just a
two.
big... I mean, Acuna's got 14 more games, so double the amount of games.
Totally.
So it's like, before I could justifiably put him there,
Mhm.
I would want to see what he would land at if you give him another 14 games.
But if you look at the pace comparison, so give Sagasi, statistically in a vacuum on a website, if you put the same pace, Sagasi comes out ahead still.
Sure, I'm not arguing that, but like where the challenge becomes is 14 games isn't enough to get adjusted to.
Yep.
28 games, that's
True.
a different.
Yeah.
That's
True.
a difference. And so Acuna's now in that phase of being adjusted to.
Yeah.
They're pitching him differently.
Yep.
And it would have been interesting to watch. And I hope we get another chance. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see.
We
Right.
freaking should.
Right. I want to see this young man in Sagasi play every day. Like,
And the other thing is he is an elite defender,
right.
especially at second base.
One of the guys I work with is a huge Nolan Gorman guy, and when he came up for a little bit of time last year, he said, I watched him make one play at second base and thought, Gorman's never playing second base again.
Fair. He might not be ever playing again
Right.
either.
Right. I mean, if he doesn't figure out something soon, that is going to be an interesting conversation.
So kind of a queen sweep, kind of not. 1 and 2 are kind of all the same.
Yeah, I would say 1 and 2
Yeah.
were the same. It's
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So going over one more time, recapping it. Our AL player of the month is Judge. AL start of the month is Hunter Brown. Relievers were, I said Jeff Hoffman, you guys said Munoz.
Yes.
Michael and I said rookie of the month is Christian Campbell. Brian, who'd you say?
I said Jacob Wilson from the Athletics.
Jacob Wilson. NL batter of the month is Alonso for Michael and I. No.
Me and you.
Yeah.
Brian and I.
He
You
was
said
Tatis.
Tatis Jr. Okay, but we both had Tatis too. At number 2. And our starter was all Yamamoto.
Yep.
And clean sweep there. Reliever was Suarez.
Yep.
And swept it up with Sagasi-ish.
Yeah.
Ish.
We were a little closer
Yeah.
in the National League than I thought we would be.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
So I got to say, though, some of them were pretty clear, which is
Yeah.
kind of interesting. I think Yamamoto was the clear starter, but 2 and 3 we all had differently.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
In
no,
the
that's what I
National
said.
League.
When the
There-
smoke settled.
again, the National League is the one that I think you could legitimately take 10 people
Yeah.
and interchange them, with the exception of maybe the top spot.
Correct.
On the starting
Yeah.
pitcher side. I
Yeah.
mean, it was very clear that Yamamoto deserved that
Yeah.
and should get that, like, bar
Yeah,
none.
there's a number of guys that were that, like you said, Logan Webb. I had him, I think, slotted
Yeah.
at 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5,
Right.
and I was like, geez, how is this guy down that far?
I mean, if you'd have saw my scratch out notes, like, and how many times I deleted and re-put somebody's name in my computer
Right.
spreadsheet going, I really want to put him there. But then I start looking at this and it's like, it just shifted up.
Yeah.
So,
Right on. I think that was fun. Before we wrap up, real quick, I think we want to talk about some things we're looking forward to maybe in the month or maybe in the upcoming week. Some games or players that are like ticket to watch type deal. Brian, do you have anything like any games or players you're looking for?
Well, I didn't really do games. I'll give you a couple teams from both spots. Right now, the two teams I think in the AL that I want to keep my eye on and I think are fun to watch one is Detroit in the Central. A lot of fun. If you love baseball, especially pitching, the resurgence of Javi Baez in center field,
and his defense has been great out in defense.
Right.
He's made me turn Tiger games on.
Yeah. Right.
I'm
actually telling you,
watch the game.
and not for the humor side of it.
Right.
Like he is playing good baseball.
And he's not striking out.
And he's in center field.
300 right. I mean, I could go on. The other team is Seattle.
Yeah.
I want to see if they can maintain this because they've been known as that dominant pitching, and like they still have it. Like Castillo's still there, Woo's pitching crazy. They've gone through some bumps. I think Gilbert's out for a little bit. Things like that. So I want to kind of keep an eye there. In the NL, the two in the Central really are the one. I mean, I want to keep watching San Diego just because of Tatis, and obviously when Merrill comes back, what does that look like? But I think it's the Cubs and Cincinnati right now are teams to really pay attention to. I didn't want to give so much credit to Terry Francona. But man, he is making a difference. And it's early. And I will eat my words because I put them towards the bottom of the Central. Thinking that he wouldn't be able to kind of turn a young team around. But dude is figuring it out for them. And so those are the guys or the teams. Couple players real quick, I promise, is Raleigh, the big dump. Just want to watch him. And then Hoppy.
Sure,
I want to watch him in L.A. Like, there's not much to get excited about for the Angels, but that kid is. And so I would say watch him. National League side, obviously PCA right now is the guy that I want to keep an eye on. And then Jung-Hoo Lee for San Francisco.
Sure.
You know, we didn't mention him in the hitting ranks, but dude is putting on a show on the West
He's in the top
Coast.
5, though.
Right. And so pay attention. Obviously, Brendan Donovan, Corbin Carroll, those guys are fun to watch. Pitching side, I had Tyler Malley for Texas, and then I put Brian Wu for Seattle.
Sure.
And then in the NL, this is where I had Michael King, and I put Matthew Libator that I want to keep watching there for St. Louis.
Yeah, that's all solid. So I will go a little homerish, but also because they are one of the best teams in the league right now. The Cubs are playing the Giants and the Mets over the next week.
Okay, that'll be fun.
Obviously, they've been playing these West Coast teams already. So Giants right there, same mix.
Giants,
like the
Cubs
Giants are very good.
Yeah.
Very good series. And then the Mets, I think we're going to see a little bit more from them. You know,
how
are
real are they? Maybe is the good question.
No offense to the Cardinals, but if the Cardinals are in these games with them, like, were they the same?
To be fair, they're 8-1 against us this year, or like 7-1. So
right.
I don't know that we were in it.
Fair. But no, then a couple of the teams I was watching was the Reds.
We're losing, by the way. It's 4-3, so it's already switched over.
The Reds are majorly ascending. Watch out for the Rockies. They won 2 games last week, so
they still haven't cracked double digits.
That's unreal. No, the Tigers. I wanted to give a shout out to Spencer Torkelson.
Yes.
That guy has been raking. His average is still kind of meh, but if he can put up the type of power he's putting up, they are more than happy with what he's producing. And Parker Meadows still has not returned. At some point, they get to insert that guy who's electric into that lineup. And then keeping an eye on the Yankees with Jazz going down. His average has been pitiful, but he is a decent defender. He is a decent hitter for power this season.
Yeah.
And I could see the Red Sox kind of gaining ground here and taking off in this division because the Blue Jays, Tampa Bay, all those guys, they're just going to kind of beat up on each other here for a while.
And Baltimore is just unravelling, unfortunately.
Unreal.
We
kind of thought they'd step back this year, but
I picked them to be better. But man, they're just unraveling.
They're struggling. And then the other team is just watching the Mets. I do want to see what they are. You can't hold against them who they've played because they've won the games they're supposed to win.
Right,
but
now they're going to start playing some teams.
Well, and just to give you yes, I'm going to sound like complete Cubs homer here, but the Mets have a plus 57 against, I think they had 23 games against teams under 500 when the Cubs had 0 games against
Right.
teams under 500.
Yeah.
The Cubs have a plus 62.
Right.
So
That offense isn't a joke in Chicago.
Yeah.
I will tell you that.
And offense, I'm forgetting what the word is, but like being around good offense is creating good offense. You know, PCA being around everybody's.
And he kind
the
of
cover.
said that too. He's like,
Yeah.
having Tucker in this lineup changes this lineup.
yeah, 100%.
Seiya Suzuki has been raking because of Tucker.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's just that placebo effect, whatever you
Yeah,
want
totally.
to call it. Like just the
Totally.
momentum of somebody getting hot feeds you.
And Carson Kelly.
Right. I can't believe we went all
Catching core.
podcast
This is unreal.
without talking about probably the greatest offensive catcher besides Mike Piazza all of a sudden.
Unreal.
For me, I'm actually going to be watching the Cubs because they're going to the Giants. They're going to be facing a really good pitching staff.
Yes.
So I'll be interested to see. They've faced good pitching. They've not necessarily faced good teams. So will that translate? You know, we're talking about beating Paul Skeens. I don't know what their pitching matchups for the next 3 games are, but I know the Giants' pitching staff overall is really good.
Yes.
Robbie Ray has been,
Yeah, the only one that's been up
Crazy.
and down is Hicks.
and he's still
And
decent,
it's
pretty
the-
decent.
yeah, he's average.
And then you guys do play the Mets, so I'll be interested to see.
Yeah, that'll be a great head-to-head
the
matchup.
best pitching staff in baseball is the Mets, but if you count the starters and the bullpen together,
Right.
so I'm interested to watch that. The Cardinals have taken 2 out of 4 on the road against the Reds, so their home record has been really bad. So I'm curious what that's going to look like if they're changing that pace. For me, I'm just watching Aaron Judge, man. Like,
Yeah. You can't go
it's
wrong
just
there.
like-
right.
like, come on now. And the other thing I'm really, really paying attention to, and this is someone I just like speed a lot. I'm paying attention to the stolen base record and the pace of everybody. Ellie De La Cruz is leading at 13 because we gave him all of those
Yeah.
the
Well,
past
everybody's going to
weekend.
run on us.
100% correct. But Luis Robert Jr. has 12.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That
Luis
guy
Robert
is
Jr.
trying to get traded so hard.
Yeah,
right?
I
Like he's
know.
like, I am going to be an elite all-star this year.
That whoever finds a way to grab him,
It's going to be the Dodgers. I mean, come on.
probably, and I'm going to be so mad.
And he'll be betting like 350.
Exactly.
Hit
Come
30
playoff
bombs in the last
time.
month of the season.
He's got a 170 average, so I don't know how he's getting on base to steal those bags. But
Couple games where he's hit. That's
Yeah, that's about it.
The NL Central is actually stealing at a great rate because I saw
know.
Ellie, and then O'Neal Cruz, and then PCA. They all 3 were in
Victor
the top
Scott,
3
yeah.
or 4.
VS.
Victor
And then
Scott's
VS,
got
Yeah,
11.
Yeah.
like I mean, that's going to be a fun,
and I
speedy
think,
division to
yeah,
watch.
for me, that's really fun to watch. Just
Right.
like, oh, he's on base.
Here we
Oh,
go.
Here's another
Right.
number. So I'm like, okay, what? I'm trying to guess what the numbers are going to be. So that's been really fun.
And
to
the fact
watch.
that guys are actually stealing again these last couple years, that is changing the game big time. 'Cause,
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
you get guys like that, Corbin Carroll, or guys
Yep.
that have that elite speed. Any ball to the outfield, there's a chance they're scoring.
Kyle
And-
Tucker's got 8 too.
Yeah, I mean that, and that's the
doing it
thing. And I
all.
mean, you didn't even flip to the AL side, and what is it? Chandler Simpson
Yeah.
for Tampa Bay,
yeah, I
like
mean-
unreal speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna get to see that if he can figure out how to get on base.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point,
He's
dude, just
stealing
stick the
first
bat
right
out
now.
there, right?
Yeah, I mean,
just let the ball hit
you
the
just-
bat, and
that
hopefully
just
it
doesn't
trickles
count
down the
in
third
stat
base line.
categories.
Honestly, we laugh about that, but that's kind of how PCA got going earlier in the year. Like, he's
Yeah.
just struggling. He was not putting the ball in
Just
play, but
bunt
he's
it.
like, you know what? I start bunting the ball. I have a good chance of getting on base.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And I mean, his homer take, I love watching VS2. I think he's got the most bunts in the game right now. I don't
I
know
love
how you
bunting.
can track that. And I love bunt. I just love the speed game in general. So I'm really watching that. But in the AL, it's Luis Robert at 12, then Duran at 10, and then Bobby Witt at 9.
Yeah.
And then in the NL, it's Ellie Cruz at 13, O'Neal Cruz at 12, PCA at 12, and then Victor Scott at 11.
Yeah,
So that for me. Well, thanks, fellas. It's been fun.
yeah, that's fun.
Thanks for listening, guys. Again, you can find us on social media and YouTube at WFBB Podcast. Take a listen, leave some comments, and we'll see you guys next time.